It's a pleasure meeting you here in Oman.
Pleasure to meet you.
You're here at a time when the Lamborghini brand is sort of reinventing itself back in the market. New showroom, new CI. What do you think the prospects for the brand are within the market?
I think first of all, the brand was here, but selling only extreme super sport car. The market is extremely limited. The profile of the Omani customers, it's very little when it comes to the numbers of fans of super sport cars in the sense of driving people. So we could have delivered in the last 2 years approximately one car per month, which is consistent with the exclusivity of Lamborghini, but still very small in terms of also business case for dealers that has a big commitment in terms of representing a brand like Lamborghini. So then what happened is that we came into this decision a few years ago that was to build a super SUV, the Urus, and given the timing of the arrival of this car, we rediscussed with our partners what could have been the real potential of the market. And in that sense, the Omani customers prospects are many more and on the SUV segment compared to the extreme super sport cars, but by 4 or 5 times. So this makes a complete different scenario for Lamborghini in a country like Oman, in a city like Muscat. Like I said, we're expecting this to be not just 40 cars, but also to be something like at least 10% of the sales of Lamborghini in the Middle East, a very important part of the world for Lamborghini. So a significant market. And so once you start to have these kind of figures, which could be still relatively small for those not used to the extreme cars, but these are very big actually. 40 cars for a dealer are a very significant number. Lamborghini is an exclusive product, extremely, so even with the Urus we will never go for tens of thousands of cars worldwide. We have announced actually that this year we will reach more or less 8,000 cars, a little less than 8,000 cars. And this is supposed to be the number that we will maintain for a few years.
That's 8,000 just on the Urus.
Yes, including the Urus. Yes, and actually worldwide it means that normally we're gonna have a ratio of more or less 50% super sport cars, 50% Urus. In the Middle East, clearly the Urus is even more usable, even more important, because the versatility that is offering is really something that you can exploit. You can drive on sand, you can drive on snow. Here there is not, but on a multi-terrain, on a gravel or on off-road, the typical situation that like in Oman you can really have, this is going to be a perfect car. So it's really offering what the customer in love with the brand couldn't get before. Before they could get only super sport cars, maybe something that was a bit intimidating only for the usage in the weekend or in the town. So that's is not the case with Urus. So that's a big change. And then also we have gone into the direction to develop super sport cars that are more usable every day, because compared to the past, Lamborghini wants to make sure that this intimidation from super sport car is surpassed. We need to explain this to the customer. It's possible thanks to the technology that the cars are offering today. You can get a car that is really an everyday car also on the Huracan. It gets very smooth, very soft, very comfortable, literally, if you put it in the right driving mode. Then you want to have a super sport car because that day you want to a bit exaggerate and you want on a racetrack, you can. But this transformation are possible with a simple click of lever in the car. So is making the possibility for Lamborghini much wider than before, and also in a market like Oman.
Yeah. Also, we've noticed that over the years, the cabin comfort of the Lamborghini has like changed dramatically.
Yes.
It's gone from being raw, something which is very performance oriented, to being more
Luxurious.
luxurious and customer friendly.
I think customer friendly is leading me exactly where the idea is coming. It's the customer feedback that you have to hear from. I mean, on one hand, you need to keep the car light. So the idea of having a car very lean and minimalist comes from the motorsport. Clearly, you cannot have a car with too many amenities if you want to also privilege the weight. But in fact, technology is helping us a lot in this. And so new materials, carbon fiber, extensive usage of carbon fiber that is beautiful and is light. New technologies such as a touch screen that is preventing you to put a lot of lever buttons and making everything in a single place. So everything is concurring to grant you that you can make a car that is more usable, that is more answering the everyday need of the customers. I think the video of the Urus in that sense is the Huracan, Evo. We have done a video that I don't know if you had the chance to see it, but it's really representing a real life situation today for our customers.
Okay.
So they use it in the morning to go to work, they use it to go for lunch, they use it if they want to have some fun at night, they use it if they want to invite somebody, the partner, to drive with them. Of course, for a 4-seat or 5-seat, you need to have the Urus. So we have also this possibility. But in any case, must be a very luxurious experience. We don't compromise on this as far as we don't have to increase too much the weight.
Would you say the shift from the Gallardo to the Huracan in the first place, and now from the Huracan to the Huracan Evo is like really along a linear path?
I think so. We are reaching a product that has an engine that is still a V10 naturally aspirated. It's not just about the more horsepower, it's getting more usable and enjoyable. Gallardo was extremely easy compared to a Murcielago, but was still to become what the Huracan has become, a tool that anybody can drive, even if you are not a professional super sport car racer. And every time you need to feel like you are really brought the car to the limit if you go to the racetrack with a car like this. And we made sure that this is possible, because it's not that the car is going to simply forgive you if you do a mistake. The car is going to prevent you also certain mistakes, and is going to help you to control the car at a very high speed with fun. So yes, you gotta drift, but you gotta do it in a way that you can control it, even if you're not a professional driver. And so I'm not talking just about typical past customer profile men, but also female, women. Okay. So now we are getting less and less intimidating to women that in the past may have considered Lamborghini.
Which actually brings me to the next question, because now that you have 3 clear product lines, like in terms of products, yes, and as you explained, all the variants, especially on the super sports, are you seeing a completely different type of customer coming in?
Yes.
Or a different profile of them? Non-traditional Lamborghini owners, for instance?
You actually hit the point. 70% worldwide customers that are purchasing Urus are new to the brand. They never have owned a Lamborghini before. So you can see how latent is the popularity of the brand. When you don't have the right product that is possible to bring to other segments, you don't access certain volumes. The moment you do it, and a lot of new people gets in, and of course the choice of a super SUV was done bearing in mind that you needed to keep and touch the DNA of the Lamborghini brand. So that was a big challenge, because clearly everybody could see that Lamborghini was a popular and well-known brand, but going into a different segment, that's another story. It could be also a risk. You don't want to jeopardize the brand. And so we made our homework in this sense. We also had in the past an SUV, so we were also sort of knowing that this could work. But we have been really working a lot on the design and on the performance of the car to make sure that this was a Lamborghini and not just a commercial attempt to exploit a potential in terms of popularity. So we wanted to make sure that we built something solid and that is going to just have the same DNA. And I think they succeeded because
I think visually the difference in the platform is clearly there. The identity of Lamborghini is there.
and also from the dynamics
Yeah,
is really
dynamics.
where you realize that.
How about in terms of technology, where I understand that the platform is actually an aluminum and steel combination, but have you been able to introduce carbon fiber elements like in your other super sports cars in that?
There is, especially in certain exterior parts and on the interior, a lot of elements that can be in carbon fiber. But these are not structural elements, if this is the question.
Okay.
And let's say the car is much heavier compared to a super sport car, right?
Obviously.
Of course, it's much lighter in this segment. Is actually one of the cars that has the best weight. It has the best weight to power ratio, but it's a complete different design that has to be versatile and go into a very heavy off-road, because the car is capable of things that until you try it, you wouldn't imagine. See a Lamborghini, you imagine it into a racetrack in a way. The moment you try the car on the off-road or in the sand like we did in Dubai, and we should definitely do it again and have you also, then you realize that the car is capable to suffer a big impact with the terrain, jump, and you can surf the dunes. It's really impressive because all that power in just 2.2 tons, it's making the car extremely agile. And you know, also on sand, you're gonna fly. It's impressive.
Also, I can't let you go without discussing ad personam and the role now, as you explained, that it's going to be so much more a feature of the sales process within Lamborghini.
Yes, I mean Lamborghini clearly with Urus has shown that the volumes have increased, but we always underestimate what is really important for a company like us. It's not about the volumes, because 8,000 cars, the record we're probably gonna hit this year, spread all around the world, still make the product extremely exclusive, and you're gonna see always very few. And we are no intention to go into the mainstream. This is where we belong and where we wanna stay. We wanna always make sure that there are less cars than what is the demand. And so what is the real direction where we need to go? The real direction is, of course, profitability of the company that has been struggling and changing ownership for many years until it has gone under the Volkswagen Group. And then we got the chance to develop a strategy to get stronger and more solid from a financial point of view. But now we are working alone. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to develop all the tools that make the company more profitable, because we do what the customers also want.
Okay.
So there is actually the demand very strong of the customers of making pieces that are unique. And this is not just a demand of customization of cars. It's also a demand of make me a car that is unique.
The one-off, your one-off.
The one-off.
Yeah.
Or give me limited editions that are really special and that I can count, rely on the fact that they are also so limited that this add value by definition. If you look at the SPJ Aventador, the 63 edition just was an incredible success. Is an example in the end of what you can do with the customization program. More extreme, of course, it was also a celebration of 1963, the year. But again, the way the car has been configured is an extreme example of what you can do if you just take the time to go through the creative process. It's possible. Anything is possible, and whatever you think you like, we're just gonna tell you how long does it take and how much could it be. But in the end, if this is what you want, we're gonna make it. And for us, this means today, just in Oman, an average 17-18% of additional turnover on top of a car that is, of course, a car that is very expensive, because it's a Lamborghini and is offering what is offering, so the top of every performance. So a technological piece like this is costing, but then customers in average are suggesting to at least 17-18% more additional options ad personam and the contents to a car that is already offering a lot, but they want to have a unique piece. And this is a demand that we need to meet because we can be more profitable, definitely, but always keeping the exclusivity to the numbers.
How about new technologies in your car? Do you see that as a challenge or?
It is. I mean, homologation, I think, is the key discussion we get to have here because on one end you will find manufacturers that will try to be pioneers in electrification because today they are not strong into the super sport car segment, so they want to be disruptive in introducing technologies that we don't consider yet the actual and most valuable technology. And on the other end, there are companies like Lamborghini that are trying to keep as pure and as consistent to the demand of the customer as possible the car. A natural aspirated engine on a super sport car is the best because of the torque you get from it and of the fun you get from it. But then you need to comply with homologation and you have to do it worldwide. And the regulations are so different from Korea to America to Europe that you need to find a project that is capable in the end to go into this direction. And when it comes to very performant engines, the turbocharger, of course, is definitely a direction where most of the competitors have gone with the super sport cars. We managed until now, and with the existing product range, so for a few years again and more, Aventador and Huracan to be compliant with regulations, but we have only natural aspirated engines. When it came to Urus, the decision of going for a turbocharged was also because we wanted an engine that had a torque, a very low RPM, to overcome certain obstacles in the off-road. So we had a very wide discussion of what could have been the right engine for this kind of cars, and we came to the conclusion that in that case that was the best fit. But definitely, if regulation keeps tightening up, it's also a direction that we will have to take for a super sport car like the future Huracan, just to name one. So it's a discussion that we're having together.
But you're not sort of saying that you will not be incorporating it. It's just a matter of time.
And either is into the reduction of the engine capacity and again the emission, the direction of reducing emissions as much as possible, or is direction into getting power also from combined electrification. So hybridization is the other definitely very actual discussion we are having, and has been already announced that Urus will have an hybrid version in the next years. You can definitely imagine that this is something that we can have also on super sport cars, like many other competitors are doing, as far as we manage to always remember the weight to power ratio, the power to weight ratio, or the other way around. Because for us, an electric car, just to make it extreme, that is very fast and performant, but run out of batteries after 3 laps at Nürburgring. It's not a car, not yet, right? So we want to make sure that we keep the emotions of the car on one end. On the other hand, we need to make it usable the way our customers want. So they need to be capable to do more than 3 laps.
So your projections for Lamborghini now over the next couple of years in this region, especially the way the region has tightened up, and I'm sure you don't really see that much of a problem at the top end, where I assume it's slightly more elastic in terms of customer demand.
I think I can easily tell you that what happened in 2015 in the region deeply affected also the sales of Lamborghini, and it took until last year more or less to go back to the same volumes of 2015. So it took 3 years to go back to similar numbers, and was also thanks to the fact that for Alpha here we had the Urus available. So in terms of super sport car, the market has changed. Yes, true, there will be at the very top of the iceberg, the super sport car, extreme customers are still there. Some of them are the wealthiest people in the world, for sure, living in the region, but it's a very small number. So they're not going to constitute the kind of customer we can target to survive in the region. And in fact, the Urus was the kind of product that really brought back the game in terms of number. And then this year will be a full year of production capacity available for Urus will bring us to a record in the region. So if I look at the number in 2015 and this year, I know that it will be by far above. But overall, I'd say when it comes to the top of the range, Aventador SVJ, just to name one, or when we launched the Centenario, we know that in this part of the world there are those customers that will absolutely get one because they are just looking forward for the next.
And they have to wait for it.
And they have also the wealth to access this, of course.
Thank you very much for your time. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you.
Likewise.
And
Thank you for coming.
I hope Lamborghini does very well in Oman.
Appreciate it. And likewise for your magazine. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.